doesn't look
Any
well that age.
regrets? Any regrets about that, Banks? Any regrets about the trade? Now that you had a week to think about it.
No, absolutely not. I'm not gonna have a single regret about it because it's at the end of the day, it's still an upgrade over Jared Goff, and that's what it's about. Jared Goff
Mhm.
has not played good football in over 2 years after we
Mm-hmm.
got that given that deal. This is what it is, man. We like they've been talking about. We gave up $22 million in dead cap space. We're willing to pay a penalty such as that just to get rid of this guy. I mean, that lets you
Mm-hmm.
know how toxic that situation really was. And you got to think
Mhm.
about it too. McVay never really seemed to really be in support of him anyway. You got to remember, Golf was somebody drafted before even McVay even showed up to our team. So he's not. I don't think McVay really had a lot of confidence in him in the get go, and even when I actually sit back and I look at him in the earlier years, I mean he doesn't look like he has confidence, man. It's just I think that's what his issue is. It's just he does not look confident to be playing NFL football. He almost looks like he has a fear on his face every single time he drops back and throws a pass. And you just can't do that with a team as such as ours. Not to brag or anything like that, but our team you can tell is full of certain guys. Like they just sure themselves. We got swagger on both sides of the ball. We got swagger on offense. We got swagger on defense. And these guys are trying to, make it happen. And then when you got, when Wolford was getting the game, the players really were like behind him. Like and that's why I knew it was the beginning of the end for him. When Wolford was getting all the support in the Rams community on Twitter, on Bleacher Report, and all the big apps that I follow and stuff like that, Facebook. When I started seeing the support Wolford was getting, I was like, oh yeah, this is really happening. But I didn't know it was going to be this year. I thought they were going to try to move on from him next season. I was not expecting this year. So, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trade is still those two draft picks that we gave up. Again, if the plan again, just to hear it out, if the plan is to be competing for Super Bowls, those we're expecting those draft picks to be later picks anyway. We're talking 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Which technically those are the kind of guys that you're, thinking more and more lines,
Mm-hmm.
second round picks anyway. You know what I mean? So you're not,
Mhm.
they're not really, I don't think they're really concerned.
See what
Yeah.
happened. One thing I noticed about Jared Goff about him was he was good once McVay told him what to run, and once the defenses knew what they were going to do, he didn't know how to change up afterwards. He didn't know how to manage the game if McVay didn't tell him how to run it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And I think
I
with
mean,
Stafford,
yeah.
he's not going to have that problem. And he'll probably audible out of something McVay calls if he doesn't like what he sees.
Confidence, bro. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's good. You can see from Stafford's game, he has confidence. Like he knows he can get the job done, and that's all we need. All we need is a guy that just knows that he can get it done. And even if Matt Stafford goes down, I think I've seen enough from Wolford when he comes back from his injury to trust that okay, he'll manage the game until Matt Stafford. If Matt Stafford happens to get hurt, he'll manage the game until Stafford comes back. You know what I mean? So it's better having Wolford as a backup quarterback than Jared Goff. That's just how bad it got. It's just
Hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna be 100% straight up because this is a not for debate and that's what we do. I'm gonna go ahead and publicly acknowledge DeVore's point. DeVore's been saying it since for a very long time since we drafted this guy 6, 7 years ago. He's right. Jared Goff is a bust. He's terrible.
It
So,
took just me sitting down and watching him against the Miami Dolphins that game for me to pinpoint
oh
that out.
my god.
And by the way, that was year one, fellas. That was year one. And
Mhm.
now just imagine what I could do by sitting back and just watching a guy for 7 straight games. What I could do with a deep analysis of that guy.
Oh, he's talking about
I
Tua.
mean, num-
I'm not
num-
getting in it. No.
Yeah,
number one.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna trust Jimmy Johnson's analysis. How
So
about that?
you go ahead and do that. But to go back to what you were saying, Shake, about Jared Goff beginning to struggle. I saw it. Well, at first I saw it in that 2016 game against the Dolphins. but he started to make a valid argument that very next year with McVay, and then continuing on his success that year after that. Where you started seeing the decline was during that playoff run when Todd Gurley wasn't exactly available, and that threat of Todd Gurley was put a big huge strain on Jared Goff's ability. And now you seriously saw the handicap that Jared Goff had on the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if they were the St. Louis Rams back then when they played the New England Patriots Banks.
They were still the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah,
They
we
were
were
LA
Los
Rams, maybe in the first
No,
year.
they were saying no. Yeah. The first year was L.A. Rams. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, when they played the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, you could see the discomfort that Jared Goff had in that game. So it just goes to show how valuable to me that Todd Gurley was to that offense. But also another thing I wanted to touch on, Banks, as far as your receivers are concerned, do you think the lack of production at the receiver position also led to Jared Goff's decline?
Yeah,
and this is a deep receiver class too, so keep that in mind.
And that's one of the things that I pointed out that I wanted to point out too. I don't think we're done there. I do feel like we still need that vertical threat that can go down the field and beat people down the field. Whether that be a big physical receiver like Metcalf or something like that in the draft, who knows? Or if we end up getting somebody like, from what I'm hearing, we're actually trying to get in contact with Cincinnati about John Ross for him coming over to LA.
Y'all don't need no more little guys. Y'all need.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want the little guy. I want a bigger body. I would be even okay with having Odell if Odell happens to just get out of Cleveland. I would be happy if we went after Odell just because he will add a threat dimension to our offense. Okay, this guy can still beat you deep, or we could just go after a guy in the draft and pay him less money, and build him up. Because Van Jefferson. From what I think Van Jefferson is going to be a very good, productive receiver. But I get a possession receiver vibe from him. I don't think he's going to be somebody that we can threat. Like even when Cooper Kupp caught that pass, that deep pass against Seattle, I was actually surprised because we don't throw the ball deep. Like we don't.
You don't have an over the top guy,
right? We don't have somebody that can pull the top back of a defense. We need that. So. And even with the situation with the Gerald Everett situation with the tight end position, we were kind of expecting him to get out there and peel the defense back a little bit, but we haven't really found our way to use him in the offense. I mean, he was more productive this year, but I was expecting more from him for him being a second round draft pick for us that year. I'm still waiting for him to show up, but we're in a good spot. We definitely need to go after some receivers though.
What you think about AJ Green?
Washed up. He's
done. Nah, I don't want a veteran. I want somebody. Now, don't get it twisted though. He wouldn't have to do much in our offense, to be very honest with you, because we have, like I said, we have reliable receivers. I don't think we're going to end up signing Josh McReynolds back. I think they're going to let Josh McReynolds walk, but he's another guy that's pretty productive. We're going to keep Cooper
Robinson.
Right. We got some. Maybe Allen Robinson. That would be.
That's what I'm saying. Allen Robinson.
That won't be bad.
He's asking for a lot of money. I know that much.
He deserves it.
You talking about LA though, man? Money.
I get it. But
Havoc, the Rams ain't got money like that. Don't let him stunt.
Man, listen, I guarantee you.
Do the Rams have the cap space like that? They can sign Allen Robinson.
They ain't got no cap space for that.
They ain't got no, man, y'all.
They're already eating $22 million a dead cap for Jared Goff. Yeah. And they about to take on another contract.
Although I will say, to get somebody that is called an NFL general manager to agree to pay Jared Goff over $100 million has to be the grift of the century. That man is certified trash.
That's the market, though.
He is trash, bro.
That is the market.
He's terrible.
You gotta understand the market. What they do with these quarterbacks is, as long as you're not costing us football games,
they paid him too early.
They
paid him too early.
They had no choice.
They had a choice. They didn't have to pay him when they paid him. Right.
Well, they could have just Dak Prescott him. And Dak was better than him. Dak Prescott was a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
Because what we saw was Todd Gurley was essentially Marshall Faulk for them. And when his knees went out, all that magic dust that Todd Gurley kind of brushed off on Jared Goff, all that was gone. I mean, Jared Goff, in my opinion, is best suited as a very good backup. In
I
my
can feel you on
opinion,
Mhm.
that.
he is
Yeah.
best
Feel you on that.
suited. He is Brock Osweiler. He
Yeah.
is Brock
I
Osweiler.
wouldn't say he's that bad. I wouldn't say he's that
He's
bad.
garbage, bro.
Where
Actually,
has
he's
that name
Well,
been? Where has
hey,
that
but
name been?
Banks,
Yo,
that reminds me. Bank. I don't know. When he said, I'm trying to think of a quarterback. He was talking about how Todd Gurley, as soon as you lose the running game, they play like trash. What quarterback? Let me see. Derrick Henry. I'm trying to think of the quarterback. Can you tell me the quarterback? Damn it.
Charlie Whitehurst.
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Something like
Tannehill.
that.
Yeah, that's the
Something
quarterback.
like that.
Never mind. Yeah,
Something like
no,
that.
you're right.
But
Look at the
also,
poor face. Look at his face.
also,